言うことは一つだけ。絶対負けねえ。
Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's Nothing XS here, talking about the new banner that just released. A lot of people were wondering where the video was. I had all the work done for the video except the actual video and the talking itself ready last night, but I had to go to sleep because a lot of work, and I wanted to also do maybe like one gacha pool or something at the end, and I was doing all the work during maintenance. So anyway, here we are. It is the worldwide first anniversary special transfer. I know I told a lot of people that I didn't expect there to be any sort of worldwide first anniversary celebration, but I was wrong, and boy did they prove me wrong by releasing goddamn Roberto Hongo. Roberto Hongo obviously is Tsubasa's mentor in Japan. He comes with a crazy passive, crazy team skills. South American players all stats 13, Japanese players all stats 7. He comes with 4 skills, is the first unit ever to come with 4 skills pre-installed. True Skywing shot, which is a 490, 430 shot. Student Teacher Duo, which is 460, 430, also pretty good. It's a 1-2. A dribble at 300, 205. It's obviously just South American dribble, and then just A drive pass. He has 20k, well, almost 21k in attack, about 16k in physical, and just 14k in defense. He's not really much of a defender. His passive is that he gets 20% when paired with Japanese South American players, or max 20%. That's his link. And he gets 5 hidden skills, and they are 3 of them are stats plus 2. And 2 of them are combinations with other players. Also, there is a Tsubasa in this banner, a green Tsubasa with full body stand and a passive that's inverted to Roberto's, which is Japanese 13, South Americans plus 7. He comes with Skywing Twin Shot with Santana, Student Teacher Duo with Roberto, and Wing Interception, which is just some kind of a pass cut. And then, whoa, that jumped pretty crazy. And then we have Carlos Santana, a red version of Carlos Santana with Skywing Twin Shot with Tsubasa, New Brazil Football, an untyped 1-2. Shoulder charge a tackle, also full body stand, and his passive is just red Extreme Awakening South America player is red, so 15 to toughness type South Americans, and everybody else, every other toughness type plus 10. So they're pretty solid. Also, if you do a 10 pull, you have a probability of getting something else that's nice. Obviously, you're aiming for some of the black balls, but you could also get coaches, legendary drills, energy recovery balls, or league ticket books. So that said, let's look at some of the units directly. We're going to start with probably the best unit that was released this banner. We're going to talk about Roberto Hongo, and Roberto Hongo is exactly as good as you think he is. He's one of the most complete attackers in the game. He can shoot, dribble, pass, among the best characters in the game. Just like World Cup Aoi, his passive gives you more stats the more of a certain nationality of player you field, but the thing is that since you can use South American or Japanese players, he's easier to use in that regard than Aoi would be. Now, what's even better is that his team skills and hidden abilities work well together, because his hidden skills are basically plus 2% to South Americans, the other one's plus 2% to Japanese, and then the third one is plus 2% to both. What that means is that you wind up getting plus 4 to both South Americans and then plus 4 to Japanese players, as long as he's on the field. So technically you're giving 17% to South Americans and 11% to Japanese players. So he's incredibly good just based off of that. So basically, if you're using him in like Japanese, like Mono Japan, or Mono Blue Japan, he's good. Even though he doesn't get the effect from being Japanese, he debuffs himself, and then he also buffs your other Japanese players, which is really good. There's just all sorts of interesting ways that you can slot this unit into basically every team in the game, and so I think as a result that he is a double S unit. He can play at forward or attacking midfielder, although I think his best position is forward. He's not exactly a striker, he's more of like a raw attacker in the same vein as World Cup Aoi, but he is better in the forward slot because his tools are only offensive, and you want a little more defense out of your midfielders, in my opinion, and so you're better off just putting him on forward. His pros are that he has base 9k dribble and pass and 10k shot. And when I mean base, I mean like total base. And he's buoyed by his passive into the 10 to 12,000 ranges for several things. He has an S shot, an S1-2, A dribble, and A pass already by default, and you don't have to give him anything else. That's what he comes with. Now he's not as limited as, for example, World Cup Aoi for team building, and his S shot is crazy strong. Now he can't really defend, and that's not his role. I guess that would be a con. And honestly, you would have to really take advantage of his abilities. You have to team build around the national archetype, which is really not that hard considering his passives and the fact that there is a Hino with a similar passive and a Tsubasa that just came out with a similar passive. Now, to limit break him, I would just do dribble 2203, shot and power 25s, and then pass 2203. That would be basically how I would lay out this character for take advantage of all his abilities. Now, for his hidden abilities, he gets, again, as I was saying, all stats +2. He gets it 3 times, 1 for just South Americans, 1 for just Japanese, and 1 for both. And since they all stack, you get a free 4% to 2 different nationalities, which is pretty good. It's pretty good because you can just drop him into a team, and he'll probably make a good chunk of your team really good. But it's really scary in stuff like Mono Blue Japan, where when you play him, he gets 19% from T-skills and hidden abilities, and then he gets like 4% strong. He makes everyone else 4% stronger. So imagine giving another 4% for free to Hyuga, which will make up for the 1% you'll lose for playing Roberto, you know, so he'll be like 48% total, you know, and then plus another 10. Obviously, I'm just adding up stuff in ways that you're not supposed to, but it's nuts. And then his other 2 hidden abilities are Combination Tsubasa and Combination Natureza. On a coin flip, either of them will activate, or both of them will activate, or neither of them will activate. So you can get either plus 5% or plus 10% to your stats, or plus 0. Each one of them activates on a coin flip. There's times where he'll be 10% buffed because he'll have both Tsubasa and Natureza hidden abilities activate, and some other times neither of them will activate and you won't have anything special. Either way, he's really, really, really strong, and his hidden abilities are really strong, and they're not interesting, right? They're lazy design, in my opinion. They don't do anything particularly cool, but they just make him kind of a monster on the field. Now, looking at his actual stats, he's at 10. I think he has 1,098 stamina, which is pretty nice. It almost feels like he's not a drunk with a retinal detachment. Sorry. His stats are pretty strong in the attack side and pretty non-existent in the defense side, and pretty average in power. So you wind up with 9,200 dribble, 9,300 pass, and 10,500 shot. That's a pretty decent amount of shot. I mean, it's nothing like insane to write home about like some of the top tier strikers, but once you factor in his passive and his hidden abilities and the kind of teams you can run him in, like, it starts to amp up very, very, very quickly. It's not the new France Napoleon, but it's still pretty good. Now, for a skill build, you're not going to do anything, right? You can't do much. There's no SR versions of Roberto anywhere. This is exactly how he comes, and this is exactly what you're going to run. He has one of the best shots in the game at 490 momentum for 430 stamina. It doesn't have any blowaways, but it's still pretty good. He has a really good one, too, that's 460 momentum at 430 stamina, and his other 2 skills are pretty solid. It's just South American Dribble, which is easy to farm, and Drive Pass, which got easier to farm just recently. Also, you get plus 20% for playing him with other Japanese South American players. He's a crazy good unit. He is absolutely must-have if you're playing blue or you're trying to build South America. Like, if you got that Victorino and you're wondering, oh, gee, well, what is this Victorino for? Well, now you know. Here it is. And they even made it easier for you to run that Victorino because now you can run South Americans and you can run Japanese players, so you might want to run both of them on the same team. Anyway, moving on. Tsubasa Ozora, football prodigy. Now, imagine if they made Roberto only a midfielder, give him worse stats, you give him an overtuned passive that can get your unbuff. You can get you an unbuffed 66.5k shot or 93.2k if you're running him in 40% green. And that's pretty much it. He has a main S shot that's actually really, really crazy good. It's 490 momentum, 475 stamina, and it has 3 blowaways on it. But he's a green Tsubasa, which is extraordinarily crowded territory. There's a ton of green Tsubasa to choose from already. His team skill makes him really good for the kind of team that you want to build around him, which is the kind of team that you're going to play Roberto on. And so that's where you would want to run Football Prodigy. But that's really what makes him desirable. He's a counterpart to Roberto to allow you for 20% Rainbow Japan and South America on the same team. And then with Hino, you get that to 30 South America, 27 Japan, which is nice, but I kind of question whether that is a great build to have. It certainly makes it very easy to build a team if you got both of these units. And you could get very, very creative with the way that you put these units together. But I don't know entirely if I would be extraordinarily like... I don't know if I would be like chomping at the bit to run this particular formation of players. Obviously, some people are going to do it no matter what, and then we'll know more about how strong he is or how strong these kind of formations are as a result later. But now, the pros are that he does come with a great pass cut. He comes with a very, very strong pass cut, and he has the stats to kind of take advantage of it. And he has probably one of the best shots in the game. And his passive is full body stand, which means that he's really strong in the beginning, even though he tapers off later. And he has a 10k, and he's part of the 10k club when it comes to shooting. The problem is that he's kind of mediocre at everything else in stats, and he exists in a world, honestly, where true captaincy is the green Tsubasa of choice now. He feels like you're going to use him to pass his skills around to other Tsubasas, which are probably better. And frankly, he has a pass cut, but mostly he's just an attacker. That would feel better if it wasn't that full body stand really desperately wants you to use it to use his shot, because that's the advantage of it, right? Like, full body stand is not good on players that do a lot of things. In a weird way, you don't like that kind of player. You would rather a character with full body stand only do one or two things. That's why full body stand is so good on goalkeepers, and it feels so frustrating on anything that's not like a forward, right? Because he runs out of gas. Maybe if they're like a defender and they do one thing really well, or two things really well, and have both of those things really high level, like for example, the Dream Collection Vulcan, right? Now, the limit break, I will do the exact same limit break as Roberto. I do 22-3 dribble, 22-3 pass, and 25-25 shot and power. A lot of people will be like, well, why don't you raise his intercept? It's like, because that's not really his job, and full body stand will take care of the gap if you really must intercept early. I rate him as a B level attacker. He only is an attacking midfielder. I wish he had been also like a forward or maybe a defensive midfielder. It would make me feel a little bit better about playing him. I mean, if he was forward AM, maybe he would have been A, right? But since he's not, and since Tsubasa doesn't really play forward anymore, it feels rough. Anyway, as a unit, his stamina is also 1039. I actually don't know if that's correct. I may have gone lazy, or sleepy. It's possible. Both of those are possible. But I'm gonna say 1039, and you can correct it in the comments later below if it's wrong. He has similar stats on offense, but a little bit weaker. He's a little bit weaker on dribble and pass than Roberto. He's definitely weaker on tackle, block, and intercept, and his physical is a little bit better. And obviously, he does have high and low ball boost, and he does come with the passive of full body stand, which kind of helps him out with his abilities. That is good enough for 8.3 dribble and 8.6 pass and a 10.4k shot. Not the best shooter in all time, but probably a little bit better at shooting than Sao Paulo. Although Sao Paulo, I think, is so much better at passing that I think that maybe even then Sao Paulo eclipses him just a little bit. Now, as for his skill build, you should keep the S Skywing Twin Shot. I would keep S Student Teacher Duo if you're going to run him in a South American / Japan team. Keep the interception because why not, and then give him Santana turn and a drive pass to round out your offensive skills. Frankly, you really don't want to use any of your skills until you've shot at least once, since full body stand will burn 475 stamina, and or you know, a little less than half that if you use your first action at full power. But that's really where Skywing Twin Shot is at its most terrifying, and so you don't want to do anything until you get to shoot with him once, but since he's an attacking midfielder, he's going to have a hard time with that. He's really kind of surprisingly mediocre, and he exists in a world, again, where true captaincy is there, with really strong team skills for green, and in general just a really good unit. Obviously, he's not a primarily green Tsubasa, he's a mixed Tsubasa, so I think he might see more success on a team that builds around South Americans and Japanese players. And so maybe you want to look at that in terms of team building. I think on a team like that, I know a lot of people will see, well, rate B, but if you put him in that kind of team, he'll be higher rated. And it's like, no, the reason he's rated B is because the only way he really works is on that kind of team. Meanwhile, true captaincy works as long as you're in green, and that's a lot easier to still build monocolor than it is to build mono nationality plus color. Although that said, listen, he's one of the strongest shooters of any of the Tsubasa, so you keep him around for that. That's still very valuable. And his wing interception, if you do get extras, you may want to consider giving it to maybe true captaincy, or if you have like the V3 interception Tsubasa and that's your main one, you could give that wing interception to him and level it up to A80, and then that V3 Tsubasa will be crazy strong with that interception, and so it might be worthwhile for you to do that. As for the next unit, Carlos Santana and Tsubasa IM did not have the right graphic and UR for this unit when I went looking, so I'm just using the SSR one, and I really didn't feel like downloading it before I started making the video because, again, you know, lazy, tired, work's kicking my ass. Anyways, Carlos Santana, to be the world's best striker, he is a toughness unit. He's a forward striker. you know, with the role of striker as opposed to just attacker like the others. Basically, I wasn't sure what I was seeing when I saw him. I just saw forward green Tsubasa that just released. He can't really defend, but he's actually decent at intercepting. Even though, like, for example, the green Tsubasa we just saw is not, but it comes with intercept. This one is better at intercepting, but comes with a tackle, which is just KLab trolling at this point. He can shoot really hard. It isn't anything crazy impressive. It's probably stronger than Tsubasa, given the same passive. And then he diverges because he can actually pass pretty well for red, which is just, please stop. And he has really good skill selection because he's a Santana, right? Also, his team skill is actually a 15-10 red South America. And that's really, really strong. He'll grow really well with the red Nakoruru from World Cup 2018. And so he would replace the red Santana for most situations if you're trying to build a red South American team. For pros, he's a good shooter. He has good skill support for it. He has the same shot that Tsubasa has, which is a 490, 475, 3 blowaways. You can build him a bunch of different ways because it has a bunch of different skills that you can give him. And he really can put that flying drive pass to use. And I think his team skill is really good for the South American archetype. And on him, full body stand feels more useful because he's going to sit in the box a lot. You don't feel as bad spending the stamina for things you're already going to do. As attacking midfielder, you have a lot of hard choices to make with the stamina, especially because it only boosts the skills. But for him, since it doesn't matter that it only boosts the skills because 90% of the time it's going to be an attempt at goal. Now the problems are that, again, he has an A tackle, but he's not good at A tackling. And red is really overloaded at the striker position, so it's kind of difficult to figure out where he fits. For his limit break, unlike Tsubasa, I would do 25 in shot, power, passing technique. The technique will help your intercept a little bit. The passing will help the fact that he has a very good passer. You're only going to use that once you've spent your first Skywing twin shot, most likely, because you really want to like enable your other forwards, or because you're in full power and you get your first one for free no matter what, so you might as well flying drive pass to someone in a better position. And then you obviously do shot and power. You could also do 22-3 dribble speed, 22-3 pass technique, and 25-25 shot power. But because you can also give them a 1-2, and there's so many of them for Santana at this point, you may want to consider just going all in on pass, especially since he's not really great at dribbling. For his stats, he's a 1031 stamina character. As you can see, he's a little bit higher in pass. As a result, he's a 7.300, well, really 7.4k dribbler with 10.7 shot, the highest of the three that were just released, and 9.9k pass. He's whatever at tackle and block, but he is a little bit better at intercepting. 8.3k is really not that bad, so if you give him rolling interception, he'll be nice. And in fact, for his skill build, I would give him the Skylab Twin Shot, the New Brazil Football, Rolling Interception EX, Santana Turn, and Flying Drive Pass. I would save his tackle for some other version of Santana, so pull it off, don't just replace it. And load up on ways. Really, you're trying to figure out other ways to use Skywing Twin Shot with the Sky. Although, if you do decide to use them, you could forego the Rolling Interception and the Flying Drive Pass and give him S Rolling Arrow Jumping Overhead Kick if you have a spare, or the A two-stage combination shot if you have a spare. Basically, build him whatever way you want, in a way that will allow you to get the most out of him, in a way that you enjoy, right? Or in a way that he serves a need on your team. Red is loaded at striker, so make him into the striker or into the forward that you most need for your team. He's a little bit flexible, and that's kind of valuable, I guess, now in red, because red is starting to receive passers and all this other stuff, so maybe that might be viable, like a second half unit, or again, like South America red, where his team skill is actually much more appreciated. Now, for what we're going to do here is I'm going to give it a shot. I originally wasn't going to pull on it at all yet because I have these other things. I have this SSR ticket or whatever. But we're gonna start off by pulling on some stuff. We're going to kick a point transfer. Then we're going to pull the SSR ticket, and then because the SSR ticket now has everyone in it, and then we're going to pull at least once on the 10 banner. Oh, this was nothing. Just a single SR, you know. So now we've seen Victorino SR. We're going to go for it. We're going to load our SSR ticket and see what we get. Personally, I want the green Nakoruru the most, because I do want that team skill. But I'll take, frankly, anything that I don't have yet. Nakoruru would be my favorite. Any of the latest 3 units would be nice. I'll take the red Kluivert. I just want something good, you know? Something fun. What are we getting? Wait, it's me! Nice. You know, it's important that I got that guy, right? Because I gotta suffer with everybody else that got them. Oh. Got a lot of garbage, I guess, in my inventory. So, I don't actually need any of these UR coaches. I have enough as it is. And so, we're gonna go ahead. I actually need to get rid of a ton of Santanas in my inventory. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna kick on this. I frankly don't think I'm gonna get anything. My luck on pulls has been very bad lately. So we're gonna check. Yeah, this looks pretty bad. It's just one bird. Oof, red text. I would need memories or better here to salvage this. Oh man, this doesn't look good. Oh. Oof. This is not gonna be anything. The game's just baiting me. But we gotta follow through with it, right? We gotta sit through it because we got Schneider's sister. So we have to suffer through all the rotations. Yep. There you go. There you go. That's the Captain Tsubasa Dream Team I know and love. Oh, what do we get? You know, that's not bad. That is a good consolation prize to get 3 SR balls out of that. And then I want to kick on these tickets, but I'm going to save these step-up tickets until I get all 5, and then I'll make either a video or I'll do them live on a live stream. Anyways, guys, another thing that I want to talk about before we go, now that, you know, the analysis is done and everything else is done, I wanted to talk about a little project I'm doing. I have been, since I know you guys probably noticed that the music for the game has been offline. Hajef closed his channel, and I wanted to basically recover those tracks, but I haven't been able to get in contact with him. So what I've taken upon myself is to sort of get in here and start ripping the actual I wanted to get out these tracks from the game myself, and so I managed to do that, and I've got a bunch of different ones, right? I've got from everything in the game. I feel that there's a bunch of them missing. I don't know which ones exactly. I do feel that I've gone through a bunch of them, but I'm still missing a couple of them, and I don't know how to identify some of these. If you go to the Discord, in the Discord there is a channel now for it's called the OST project. If you can lend me a hand in identifying some of these songs, I would really appreciate it. I am also looking for some of the other ones. For example, the latest Saudi Arabia track, I can't find it. I can't find some of the other tracks, like the track for the Chinese team. I think that there's just other stuff like that, and I want to be able to identify it. So if you could come through, maybe help me identify some of these. Maybe if you've recorded them before and can tell me where they are, that would be great also, so that I can use them and put them online, right? The goal is to put like all of these looped maybe twice or 3 times online, so that everyone can use them or listen to them for whatever their reasons might be. But any help that you guys can give me on finishing this would be great, because frankly I would really like to listen to these tracks. These are very good tracks, and I use them for my stream, I use them for these videos, and I use them for a bunch of other stuff. So any way that you guys could help maybe find this stuff would be excellent. And also, if you guys haven't done it already, please remember to like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you think of the characters yourselves. I think Roberto is not better than World Cup Aoi, but he is definitely up there in like top 5 units in the game. He doesn't feel as broken as Aoi. Aoi just feels real toxic, while this Roberto, while he does feel real strong, he feels a little more random, and he feels like you can box him out and maybe beat him a little easier than you could beat Aoi. I feel that Aoi's real strength is in the fact that he has access to all these A skills, and Roberto probably gets tired a lot faster. So maybe in like full power he'll be terrifying, but outside of it, I don't think he is the monster that Aoi is. Although he is very good, I'm not gonna say he's not. He's incredibly strong. True Skywing Shot is very powerful. Anyways, guys, thanks for coming by. I hope you guys get really good pulls on your tickets. Hopefully in the weekend I will also get really good pulls on my tickets, and I hope to see you then. See y'all later.